Hello everyone, my name is Colby West and I'm with the Just Good Network. And today I'm going to focus on the Atlanta Falcons tight end Kyle Pitts and the underwhelming season that he's had, especially compared to his rookie season last year where he burst onto the scenes with big catches, big plays that actually caught the eye of a lot of NFL veterans around the league. Now statistically speaking, he sits at 25 receptions, 313 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And that puts him at 90th, 77th, and tied for 48th in those categories. That's pretty underwhelming statistics compared to the expectations that Kyle Pitts brought into this season. Now, I think you can break it down into several different categories, but today I'm going to focus on one area that I think is affecting him the most. And I think that's offensive scheme, which ultimately comes down to they've changed it due to offensive personnel being changed around. But last year, to finish the season, the Atlanta Falcons sat fourth from the bottom in rushing attempts and second from the bottom in rushing yards. Right now, they currently sit at second from the top in both rushing attempts and rushing yards. With a primary focus on running the ball, it's obviously going to knock down the pass attempts that the quarterback takes in the game, which is going to cut down on the overall targets, which through the first 6 games that Pitts played, he averaged 5 targets a game, which isn't very high for your number one offensive weapon. Now, the Atlanta Falcons have changed that in the last 3 games. His target average per game has actually gone up 3 to 8 targets per game. Now, he still only had 5 receptions, 2 receptions, and 2 receptions in those games, but they're still attempting to get him the ball more often. But overall, when your offensive playmaker has a game where he has 1 reception, 4 games where he has 2 receptions, that's really not acceptable as an offense. And you're not going to succeed like you could if your number one offensive player gets the ball. I think it comes down to chemistry between him and Marcus Mariota and the abilities that Mariota brings to the table that Matt Ryan didn't. Marcus Mariota has great running ability, and he works primarily out of the play-action pass. But Matt Ryan, even at his age, was able to sling the ball around and spread the ball a little bit more. Now, I think that fit Kyle Pitts a little bit better, and their chemistry was a little bit better. But because of the offensive personnel change this year for the Atlanta Falcons, they've had to change the scheme a little bit, which has overall affected how many targets and how much production that Kyle Pitts is getting on the field. Now, there's other factors that are going to come into play for why Kyle Pitts isn't having the season that everyone thought he was going to have. But ultimately, if they start getting him more targets and build up his confidence, even maybe throwing a rushing attempt in there somewhere just to get him the ball and being able to use his elite athleticism, size, strength, hands in the open field and maybe get him a big play, his confidence would build up and he would start to make more plays. Now, I think eventually he will turn into the Travis Kelce, Darren Waller, or George Kittle-like tight end that everyone thinks he's going to. It's just going to take a little time to gel with the new offensive system and the new quarterback that they have this year in Atlanta. Overall, I think he is going to turn out to be a great talent in the league, but he is just having a rough patch this year. So we'll see if it continues or if he can turn it around.